Hi guys, Eva here, welcome back to my channel, and today I am bringing you another TBR. Now don't hate me, but I am basically kind of setting up the scenes for different reading challenges, but because I know myself and I tend to get bored of genres after I read a few books in the same genre, I'm putting out a few TBRs so I can then mix things up while I read them, and then I will wrap them up singularly. So if I do a TBR now, for example, I will wrap up these books together, but in the meantime, because of different challenges going on, I can read one of this genre, one for another TBR, and so forth. So things don't get boring for me, because I just know myself, I'm not gonna read 1,000 books in one genre without a break. I'll just get in a reading slump. It's not gonna work. So I'm setting up different TBRs that will be wrapped up to one day, maybe in years to come, who knows. But today I have a horror TBR, which hopefully I'm looking forward to wrap this up for Halloween, which is not too far. You think about it, it's just a couple of months. And the next TBR that's probably coming, it's gonna be my fantasy genre TBR. Well, you can watch this video up here to know what I mean. I don't want to get in any more spoilers more than it is, but it's coming, and that's a huge TBR. So with doing these and the series one which I've done, I'll mix up a bit of genre and I won't get bored. Without further ado, today I am in my guest bedroom where I've got one bookshelf up, another one that I've painted. Here I've just put old series, mostly urban fantasy. There's not much on it as of now. It's not really fancy, to be fair. Again, not a bookshelf tour ever, so shut up. But yeah, guest bedroom. At the moment, this is storage bedroom. So, but today was the best lighting. And yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna share with you 10 horror books that I want to read. Now, I went on a list of horror books, that most famous horror books and so forth, and I've noticed that many of those I've already read, which is really good. And I link up here the challenge where I read, the 10 most disturbing books ever written, and the 10 books that I found personally more disturbing that I've ever read. But these books, I tried to go on a list of best horror ever written, and I got a few of them that I had on my TBR but I've still not read, and then I got a few horror books that I already owned and I wanted to read. I am also trying to, with these TBRs, to try to get as much as my backlist books read, so all the books that I own already and have not read, and I keep piling up books and not read them. I continue buying books, but I just kind of want to read my books that I own. So some of the books are in the list of the best horror novels, some of the books are just horror novels that I own, and the only thing that all these books have in common is that they are all considered horror genre. I wanted to get a list of 10 books at least, and I owned 8 that would fit in the horror category. I love horror books, not movies. I don't do horror movies. Let's not get into why I can handle books but not movies. I don't know. Anyway, so I own 8 and I need to buy another 2. So I went on the list of the most famous horrors ever written, and I found these 2 that I chose to buy, so they're on their way. One is Hell House. Now, the only thing I know about this from the cover is just, I've not read the synopsis because I was just like, this is really famous, it sounds cool. I saw the cover, was like, yes. So judging by the title, I would say that this is about a house which is not really pleasant. But I've not read it. I will let you know once I read it. I guess there is some people being morons going a haunted house, trying to, I don't know, shit their pants. I don't know why they went there. It's a questionable choice for sure, and I think hell's gonna break loose. But I'm definitely here for it. Haunted houses really scare me. So yeah. And the second one and the last one that I had to buy was Rosemary's Baby. I bought this mainly because there was Chuck Palahniuk introduction in this version, and I love Chuck Palahniuk, so I bought it. I could choose the books in that 50 books long list, but I went with this. Also, it's really, really famous, and I think it's about Rosemary. She has a baby, and the baby, it's not exactly the lovely, cuddly baby that usually you would expect. And I think there was something to do with the devil. I don't know. I think, again, because this is really famous, I just wanted to tackle the most old ones and the most famous one. But I have kept the list of 50 books, horror books, and they'll definitely make my way through all of them. So I just wanted to basically go kind of a bit over classics if you want, and Rosemarys Baby is definitely there. First one I've got is Frozen Charlotte by Alex Bell. This is a YA horror. Fairly recently, I would say maybe a couple of years ago max, that I bought these, and I think it's about a school that was a boarding school, closed down, and now is being transformed back in like a normal house. And our protagonist Sophie goes to this house in summer to spend time with her cousins, and it turns out that a lot of her cousins are a bit weird, and especially one girl who always stays in her room with a collection of really creepy dolls. So yeah, I've never experienced like horror with dolls before. I remember though that my grandma used to have these really creepy ceramic dolls, and I used to play with them and love them. So I don't know if that says something about me, but I'm gonna try kind of doll horror, I would call it, which is something that I'm pretty sure I just made up. But let's see what I think about these, and if I don't like it, then it's probably gonna go. But yeah, I owned it for a couple of years. I wanted to read this. If you read this, let me know what you thought, not spoilers, please. Then I have Thomas Lingotti, Songs of a Dead Dreamer and Grimscribe. So this is a Penguin classic horror, and I love the cover. First of all, can we appreciate this? And this is a horror short story collection, so again, there's not really a synopsis. I heard that there are like influences from Lovecraft and Poe and also Kafka, and that again, I think they're gonna be really weird if the cover says something. Again, I'm really curious because I never read purely horror short stories collections before, so let's see if I enjoy these as a format. I'm not really into short stories too much, so I'm curious though in this format, maybe horror, I just love them more, or I click with them more. Then I have got 12 Nights at Rutger House by J.W. Ocker, and love the cover of this as well. And I think this is about this author who is an expert of writing stories from creepy locations, and then one day decides to go to this Rutger house, which is supposed to be haunted. He decides to go there for 2 weeks and see what happens, because clearly he's looking for a really creepy way to end his life, probably in a brutal way. So he goes there against any common sense, I would say, and he drags along his best friend, with who lately he kind of had a fall off. So they decide to go there to bound again, and you know, what kind of better location than a haunted house to do so. So yeah, I mean, I'm really curious. I've heard great things about this. I'm sure I would probably love it. It's just that when you look at these kind of books on an objective side, it's like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. But anyway, I love stories about creepy houses. I would never set foot on a creepy house, and no way I'm gonna stay there overnight. So, but if you do, if you somebody would be curious to actually have an experience like that, let me know in the comments down below, because I'm a scary kitten, I guess. But I love reading, but I've never met someone who would actually do it. So it's a bit far-fetched in my opinion. But again, I think when you read things like that, you kind of put aside any, you know, common sense and belief, and then you just go for the ride. So I'm definitely looking forward to read these and just, you know, just go with madness. Then I have got My Best Friend Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Now again, another stunning cover. I don't know why horror novels got lately the best covers, but even the old ones, I absolutely love them. And this is again a YA horror book, pretty famous around booktube. I bought this many years ago, still not read it, and it's about these two girls. One day, one of them, while skinny dipping, had an accident. They revive her, I believe, but she starts behaving really weirdly, and an incident starts like happening when she's around. So I guess her best friend decides that she's possessed by the devil and that she needs to be exorcised. How do you say that? She needs an exorcism. So yeah, I mean, I've heard great things about this. I've heard it's funny, it's entertaining, it's quick, hopefully, and it's quick to read. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to these. And again, I'm gonna keep these even if I don't like it, because of this cover. I cannot get rid of these. I cannot. Then I've got The Elementals by Malcolm McDowell. Again, another really famous one. I'm really looking forward to read these because I've heard this book mentioned so many times. And this is about actually these 3 houses that stands on a beach. And there are 2 families that each year go to a respective house on the beach, but there is the third house which is kind of abandoned and is being submerged by the sand, but the kids of the 2 other households know that this house is not actually empty as the adults think, and that the bad things that keep happening to them are, you know, this house falls. So again, we got the creepy house, I guess, element, which yes, I'm definitely here for it, and I think it's a different setting than what we usually perceive as a haunted house, because this house is supposed to be on a sunny beach. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this. I love the cover again. There's something about horror covers. Sorry guys, I keep moving, but I was losing my legs. I didn't have blood in them for like half an hour. So then I've got Nosferatu by Joy Hill, the son of Stephen King. I was really tempted to buy a Stephen King book for this, but then I found the other ones, I think, were cheaper. The 2 that I bought actually for this challenge. And I just decided that I will refrain myself for probably a few weeks. But for now, I got his son, and I'm really looking forward to read these. I've owned these for years and years, and I love the cover. I found this used, and I was on the hunt for these because I think it's out of print. And this is about, I guess, a serial killer which potentially is a vampire, or maybe not. I don't know anything. I've tried to read the synopsis and it's not really clear, and I think it's kind of really spoilery, so at one point I just stopped. I believe there is a serial killer involved. I don't know anything else. I guess once I've read this I can give the synopsis, but I know I don't mind not knowing what this is about, and it's really famous, so hopefully I love it, hopefully, because it's a chunk. So okay, I got back up. Then second to last, we have Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and illustrated by Grace McGrady. So I own also the original Frankenstein, so without illustrations, but I own this beautiful book, and the text is exactly the same. So I was like, why not reading this? And I got this with awesome illustrations, and I was like, hell, I'm gonna read this version for sure. Like, can we talk about, I love his Grimly illustrations. I own his Poe collections as well, and I think it's perfect. I cannot wait to read these. It's not too long. Again, at the beginning I thought I was gonna read both at the same time, but the text is exactly the same, so there's no point. I'm gonna read this version, and hopefully, I guess, love it. I mean, if I don't love the text, I will love the illustration. So this is a win-win. There's no way I cannot love this book. And finally, we have another really famous one, House of Leaves by Mark Danielewskis. I'm butchering this, I'm sorry. But this guy here, so this is about a family that moves into this house that is clearly bigger from the inside than what appears from the outside, and that when they move in they found things, I don't know if it's journals, I believe it might be, because this is told in like this kind of format, which is like a mixture of formats written by the previous owners or occupier of the house. I guess something really bad happened to them, so we're gonna find out in this really chunk of book. But again, because of the format, I don't believe it's gonna take me too long to read. Really eager to read these as well, so hopefully I can read all of these by Halloween, considering that I'm doing other reading challenges at the same time. So 10 books, if it was just 10 books, it's not much, but again, I'm gonna switch things around. If you want to look, my other TBR that I've already done is up here. The next TBR is gonna be fantasy themed. It's gonna be a long one, and if you saw the video, you know what I'm talking about. Let me know in the comments down below if you read any of these and what you thought about them without spoilers. Please be kind, and I'm gonna see you next time with the next TBR, and hopefully soon with the wrap up of these. I really like horror, so it shouldn't take too long with this. I kind of steer more to a horror than other genre, or fantasy and horror usually, so yeah, hopefully I can get through all of those in a timely fashion. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your day, night, depending on where you are, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.